Guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do another canning adventure of fresh garden produce. If you've planted zucchini, squash, you have realized that it produces like crazy. So you might end up with a bumper crop, as we would call it. Just too much for you to consume before it goes bad. So how do you preserve it? Yellow squash can be made, even zucchini can, but I'd say yellow squash because it looks like pineapple more, can be turned into mock pineapple. So I'm going to show you how you can do that, how you turn yellow squash into mock pineapple. A way to can, preserve it, and use it in another way. Let's dive in. So guys, for starters, you're going to get your yellow zucchini. I've already done this step, so I'm just going to show you. You're going to take that yellow zucchini, you're going to peel it, cut it in half lengthwise, de-seed it, so there's seeds you can scoop out with a spoon, and then cut it up into small pieces. That was already done, more or less into pineapple-sized pieces. Now we're ready to add everything into it so that we can start the process of cooking this down to go into the jars. So, first things first, you need 3 cups of sugar. Anything you can always seems to have a lot of sugar. That helps to keep it preserved. So, there's our first cup. 1. So when canning, realize you're almost always going to need a lot of sugar. So stock up. If you find a good deal on it, stock up. I usually have 25-pound bags. Then you need 6 cups of pineapple juice. You want unsweetened. You can use the canned stuff from the freezer. I just bought some unsweetened pineapple juice. And 1 jug might be 6 cups. A little bit under, but pretty close. So 6 cups of pineapple juice, and then you need 1.5 cups of lemon juice. One. So that's what you're putting into your pineapple or mock pineapple. We got to put this on the stove now and let it simmer, which is just a light boil for 20 minutes before it gets in the canner. While you're doing that, you can put your jars, I'd recommend using pint or half-pint jars, into your pressure canner and letting them start to heat up so that they're ready to go when this is done. So let's dive into that. So you're going to let that squash, zucchini, whichever, boil, simmer for 20 minutes. It's almost done with the 20 minutes here. Mix it up every once in a while, but for the most part, you're just going to let it simmer. But since you're going to be hot packing this into your jars, make sure you have your jars set up and in the pot boiling so they're hot. So that way you're packing hot into hot. You don't want to do hot liquid into a cold jar because you will break your jar. Vice versa, you don't want to put cold liquid in a hot jar because you will break your jar. So you're going to be heating up your jars while you're working on making up your mock pineapple. Once that's done, you're going to pack them into these jars and then you're going to start your process. Now once your 20 minutes is up, you're going to put your jars on a towel. Don't put it straight on the counter because again, hot jar on a cold counter, you will crack your jars. Put your wide mouth funnel on and then you're going to fill these jars, leaving a 1/2 inch of head space. Fun fact, half of a band is a half space. 1 full band is 1 inch. Now you're going to take your bubbler, which this comes with the canning stuff. You're going to kind of go down the sides and get all those bubbles out. Sometimes you can fill it up more once you do that. And then once you're satisfied, you're going to take a rag, you're going to wipe the top. Vinegar, some people use, I don't. And you're going to put a sterilized lid on and finger tight the band. So I'm just going to take a napkin and just make sure I didn't get anything on the lid, which I didn't believe I did. And then you put your sterilized lid on. I didn't wipe that one, did I? And then you put your band on. Finger tight just means that. As tight as you can get it without cranking down on it. The reason you don't want to go too tight is if it's too tight, the air has trouble escaping as you can it. And you want that air to leave the jar. Now, these are hot, so you can't really grab a hold of it and tighten it down by hand. And then you can put this into your canner because it's hot, so it can just go straight in. And you make a mess when you do this stuff. I do. Put a little too much into that one. So now I definitely got stuff on the lid of that one. So once you got all of your jars into your canner, you ideally should fill your canner up. So you can put just the empty jars back in to fill space. I just kind of space them out like that. That works for me. So this is going to get the lid put back on and let it vent. And then once it's venting, we'll put the 15-pound pressure on there. My area is 10 pounds, but I usually use the 15 pound still. It's just something I feel more secure with. And then 30 minutes under pressure is what you're going to end up leaving it in there for. So let me get that venting. This is what it looks like when it vents. You don't want to put your hand directly in there, but you can kind of see the steam flying out of there. I've got it behind there so you can kind of see it a little easier. But that's how it vents. You let it vent for 10 minutes, which I've already done. So then you're going to take your 15-pound or 10-pound weight, depending on your area, and put that on there. And then wait for that to start rocking. Once it's rocking steadily and built up pressure, you start your timer for 30 minutes. So we're well on our way to canning mock pineapple.